Hello and welcome to part 2 of my adventures out in the wild. You may remember in part 1 we found a watchtower, an outpost and a few little things like that, so we're going to be visiting our very first outpost today, and we may even be lucky enough to get a quad bike. Let's head down west, let's get into the woods.
You know, I spotted some tracks earlier, close to where you're at right now. I'll send the coordinates.
No need to send the coordinates. We're going to be heading down and see if we can find this cabin in the woods. Now, I've been looking at some videos online to try and learn a little bit more about this game, and the HUD down at the bottom right. The green cone shape is actually the scent that, well, should I say, that is the direction of the wind. So my scent is blowing to the left. The bottom one, you can see in the middle, looks like an eye shape there that's moving. That is actually how far I am in. Not really camouflage, but how visible I am. So I am slightly visible here, and obviously the one on the right is the amount of noise that I'm making. Getting into cover under the shadows or under trees or hiding in bushes will take your visibility, as you can see there, down to 0. So an animal can walk up to about 10 meters around me without actually seeing me. So camouflage and positioning are going to be really quite important in this game. Now, if you've watched the first part, you probably think, well, so far it's been easy. You look at the details on the floor, you go off, you get kills, and it's easy. Well, yes, it looks like that. This is because this is the tutorial. I've been watching some of the more experienced people out there playing it, and they were hunting certain exotic animals, shall we say, and they were having to track them for 30-40 minutes, searching using different techniques and animal calls and scent and all these sort of things, just to be able to find a track, never mind actually get the kill. So the game will get a lot more difficult, a lot more in-depth, so we really don't have anything to worry about. And what I'm going to do, I think, in the next episode, if I continue this, I'm going to turn off some of the HUD markers and try and make it a little bit more of a hardcore experience, because that'll be more enjoyable for me. And hopefully with less clutter on screen, it might be more enjoyable for you. I probably will have to cut a lot more out, I realise that. But that's how I like to play in most games. I like it as hardcore and as difficult as possible, because I find it a lot more rewarding. So as the wind picks up here, you can see on my right how big this map is. It is huge. So let's claim this.
Nice place, right? You won't find a soft bed in many parts around here. Don't forget to stock up before heading out.
Isn't that beautiful out there? Absolutely beautiful. It kind of like... It's yin and yang, isn't it? It's so beautiful out there, and yet in the game we're actually hunting and killing animals. And as I mentioned in the first part, it's not something I would ever do in real life. I don't think we have a right to do it. And why would you want to make an animal suffer, especially if you don't get a clean kill? So, let's have a look at this board and see if there's anything here. Cooperatively managed for production of continuous forest crops. Wouldn't it be awesome if there was forestry machinery?
Guy I mentioned earlier, Hope?
Richard Guy.
Well, looks like he's been having a bit of a problem lately.
Go on.
He's been camping out over at Balmont a couple weeks, but coming back last night, he found his camp turned on its head.
A bear, let me guess.
Some food was taken, and apparently the place looked like it had been really messed with. I don't know if it was an animal or some tourist troublemakers, but...
Young Yankee bastards.
I'm up in Topeka all day and can't look into it. Listen, I know you probably have other plans, but you're in the right neck of the woods, and I'd sure be grateful if you could just stop on by and have a look.
Okay. I'll stop on by if I get time. So in here is the locker. And obviously we don't have a lot of money up at the top right, or XP in order to be able to unlock all of these things.
Hope showed up here 2 years ago. Said something about getting off the grid. I heard he lost his family in an accident while he was deployed overseas in the army. Hit the poor guy hard. I guess out here you only need to look out for yourself. It's easier that way. Not the most cheerful fella, to be honest, but he's earned his peace for sure. Let's find out whoever did this.
Okay. So you can see here, accuracy 55. Each weapon has got its own advantages and disadvantages, and I'm told one of the first things that we should really get in this game is a zeroing option in one of the perks and then a better scope. We can then start to judge at range where we should be aiming, and we can also take into account wind, elevation and things like that. So there's going to be lots of different hunting rifles in here. I've also realised and learned that certain weapons are going to be better for certain animals, and that includes the round type as well. You may remember in part 1 when we tried to shoot a bear, we're not really going to be able to kill the bear with the weapon that we've got, and certainly not with the rounds. We would need something with a bit more punch. Again, the idea of killing animals, it'll get easy. It's just a game, I know. So it looks like we can go hunting with crossbows, and I'm sure there'll be objectives and missions later in for certain weapons. I know there are missions as well for times of day and things like that, but I'll explain some of that as we get more into it, on how to track the animals, knowing where they're going to be at certain times, possibly. It's not a matter of just turning up and they are there. Of course, this could be a waiting game. We could be waiting 20 minutes or so, even longer, for a certain animal to come out. But in the garage, we have now some quad bikes. So this is going to make us getting around the map and getting to certain areas later on much more enjoyable and quick, and it looks really, really cool in the multiplayer, which I may invite somebody in, maybe Stu, that you've seen in some of my other videos, and we'll go out on the quad bike. So let's go over and have a look at the quad bike here. Such a relaxing game in a way, very peaceful. So here's the quad bike, very nicely modelled, and let's just jump on that. Not sure what the key is here for change the camera. Let me just pause it there for 1 second. Here we are, we're back, and it's beautiful rain. The rain is really beautifully done in this game. It's really nice. Apparently you press the C key. Isn't that fantastic? We've now got our very own quad bike. And what I can tell you is the handling actually feels like a quad bike. If any of you have been on a quad bike, it's got a certain way of steering. So that's our quad bike. Brilliant. If you are an experienced player in this game, do let me know whether you can upgrade these quad bikes, maybe put extra gear,
if you ever need a
equipment
place
in there.
to rest, there's a cabin in each outpost. I had them gutted and redone last season.
Okay, so this is the cabin and rest. This shelter can be used to rest and wake up at specific times of day. So it looks like there is a cost involved in this. It's going to cost 250 in-game credits. Well, I don't want to spend that because we're at the beginning of our hunting adventure, and those money, those points, we could spend on better equipment. So what we'll do is stand here in the rain and appreciate the beauty of the forest. It's definitely got an Alan Wakey kind of Twin Peaks vibe to it. Let's have a look at our map here. Richard Hope. So this is the mission that they were talking about. He's gone off. His camp has been overturned, basically. And we don't know whether it is bears or whether it's troublemakers or teenagers out in the woods. We're going to find out. We're going to head on up there. And we're going to find out and see if we can get some answers. We've got a weapon. We've got some ammo. I don't think we need to buy any more at this point. So we're going to head off. Let's just have a look at the map. Where we're going to be heading here. So there's the camp over there. Never eat soggy waffles, so we know roughly where it is. And I'm going to put a marker down there. So it is a fair trek. The rain is stopping. Got our weapon. We've got supplies. We've got food. We've got goodies. Let's head on down the trail. Oh, this thing's got a bit of speed. I'm going to have to be careful here. Because obviously with this being realistic in first person, you can't see if the ravine drops on the other side. I don't know if there's damage or fuel to take into consideration here, but there's only one way for us to find out. Thought of being able to get a co-op buddy in here and going off and doing, let's just say, a mission or a hunt that may take an hour or so, I think it could be brilliant. It's kind of It's kind of like what I was hoping DayZ would be, that co-op vibe. We've got to be careful I don't drive into the marsh here. Can't actually quite see. You've got to go into third person. I know that's not the hardcore way to do it. But again, difficult to know what's over the other side of some of these. This thing's got some pace. Yeah, so it's kind of got that... Whoa, nearly in the drink there. It's definitely got that vibe. And if it gets to the point where you've got to, consider food, health, and other first aids in the game, fuel, things like that, times of day, then, that would be amazing. But I'm going to try and have this experience along with you as a completely new player. So we have got not too far to go, and it looks like the quad bike does take damage. You can see the speed at the bottom there. We are giving it a little bit here. So when we get there, we're going to be looking for this Richard guy who's gone missing, and see if we can find any tracks, whether they be human, or whether they be bears, whether it be wild animals, who knows. I'm having a bit of trouble here. It's wet, I've noticed in the rain. The quad bike is a little bit more slippy. Oh, we've got L for lights. Oh, don't tell me when it's stuck there. Oh, alright. So we're not that far away now. If I can get out this damn little bush. Right, so that was a bear track on my right, I noticed. So that may give us a hint on what's actually happened ahead. And if it is a bear, a brown bear or a black bear, I don't know which one is the worst or the biggest, this gun that we have and the ammo type is not really going to be suitable to finish this mission. I suppose we shall find out when the old Dukes of Hazzard here gets there. Past the marker there. Once when you put a marker on the map as well, it's only in a rough location. So we know we've got I don't know what we'd call this, a marker stones. Not sure what this gives us. Let's have a look. Earbucks either have a typical or atypical antler arrangement. Typical antlers are symmetrical and their points grow. So you can learn a little bit about the animals in the game as well, a little bit of the lore. That's a nice little touch. So that marker, again, only gives you a rough location. It doesn't give you exact point of reference. So if we bring up the map here. Right, so it looks like we need to follow the trail up a little bit to the west. And that's where Hope's camp is. I'm just going to delete that marker off. Let's just get back on the quad. Do a quick Yui and follow the trail up here.
You're getting close. Hope mentioned seeing some tracks in the mud. See if you can find them.
Okay. I can see this is a game that I'm going to get really, really into. There is a winter map as well, which looks fantastic. I just hope there's enough in here to keep my interest when it comes to things like temperature, food. I guess I'm kind of like wanting a DayZ, but in a hunting zone where the only thing that's going to really kill you is if you make a mistake from wild animals. Jaguars, as they say in America. Jaguars, cougars, packs of coyotes, brown bears, things like that. So if there's an opportunity that you can be killed, then that's going to make my enjoyment of this game so much more. So we've got a couple of waypoints up here. As I mentioned earlier, I am going to be turning off some of these markers. I want to investigate and enjoy the game a little bit more. Let's get up there and see what we've got. Build cost 1700 credit, so we don't have that. So there must be a lot of game around here in order to be able to build up your own hide, I think they call them. So here is the camp. Richard Hope's meticulously built survivalist camps can be found across the Lake District region. When hunting is your main source of sustenance, it is very important to have a few of these dotted around. Okay.
You found them?
Yep.
Great. Snap some pictures for the record and see if they lead anywhere.
Snap some pictures. I wonder if it means of the camp. Let's get a pictures. We're going to press P to bring the camera up for photography, so you can play this game entirely as a wildlife photographer if you want. Don't suppose you have to kill the animals. It's probably an encyclopedia of you capturing all the animals at a certain distance. So there's the food hanging in the bags. And there are the human tracks. So now they may not be Richard Hope's tracks. These could be the tracks of Burke, who likes to fuck. Could be some rednecks out in the woods. Who knows? Either way, we are tool up, and we're going to be able to deal with this. So let's just follow these tracks up. And what I might do is I might actually have this as a little bit of a teaser and end it here, but even I'm intrigued to see what's a little bit further up the trail here. Oh, we've got some clothing here on the tree. Oh, you never know, it might be some, like, 28-year-old girls who've gone skinny dipping. No, it's not. It's either that or somebody's wiped their undies on it. But that's right. So if I was walking this way, where would we actually be going here? On top of this little enclave here on the left, possibly. I've got a feeling any minute now we're going to hear a brrr, and a bear's going to come bounding out of the woods. So I haven't looked at any videos of this mission on YouTube. And I am told some of the missions can be quite long. And they're not completely straightforward. I'm not seeing any more tracks here. Well, really, the only... Oh, there is some tracks on the left there, some animal tracks. Just wondering if we find a body at some point, all chewed and snarled up. Whoa. Whoa. Right, vocalization, warning call. Right, so that means there is a moose who's actually seen us. Now, the range on some of these animals can be up to 200 meters if you're not out in cover. So that moose is probably up on top of this little... I thought I could hear it running then. It's going to be on top of this thing in front of us, but that's not what we're looking for. I very much doubt the camp has been smashed up by a moose. There's a moose loose about the house. Right, so we get up on the top of this cliff face here. Maybe that's going to give us a better eyes on over the valley. Yeah, I can see this game is going to be really, really enjoyable. I'm going to see probably a couple more episodes in. If people like it and they want me to continue, I'll see if I can get some co-op gameplay and get somebody in to do some of the missions with us. But in the meantime, I think we'll have that as the end before we head into the woods here and we look for Richard Hope, wherever he is, whether he's in bits or whether he's drunk somewhere with a jazz mag, getting drunk in the woods, drinking... What was that Canadian drink? What was it? It was a Canadian drink that they used to drink beer. Can't remember what it was. Tell me if you can remember. But I shall see you in part 3 of Call of the Wild, The Huntsman. I'm quite enjoying this. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Bye-bye.